Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Thursday, September 14th, and we're here to look at new releases as we do Monday through Friday in the morning here. If you're watching live, thank you so much for showing up. Like Mary, good morning. Happy Thursday, self-maintenance today. I'll visit the dentist for a cleaning and a haircut. Well, so my haircut's on Saturday at last. Look at the dentist. Brings back memories, doesn't it? The Spy versus Spy Mad Magazine. I was looking at the new releases in literary fiction for this week, and it just wasn't thrilling at all. So we're not going to do that. What we are going to look at. Hi, Mo. Good morning. Hope you guys have a cup of coffee, maybe some breakfast. So we're going to keep looking at the cozy mysteries, and I'm just going to take a look at there's a couple regular mysteries on a different website that weren't listed on the other websites. We're going to take a look at those today. So let's keep going. Isn't that pretty? I love that cup of coffee. It's too small for me though, but let's see, some housekeeping before we're done. There are sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. Bring your own book, work on a project, do meditation, whatever you want to do. Tomorrow morning, we might do a mid-month September Spy versus Spy check-in kind of thing, see how we're doing. If we found anything good, let me know. Excuse me. And I might preview some things I was thinking for the next upcoming months. So let us look at some things. All right. Now, one of these we did look at on Monday, but some of these we did not. They were withholding. Ticket Out, first by Michelle Diener, which I'm familiar with that name. I know she has written other series, but what am I thinking of? I think it's a historical. Oh, as is this one, now considered 1963. It's the summer of 1963, and Gabriella Farnsworth is a newly minted London traffic warden. She's used to temper tantrums, swearing, and threats, but finding a dead body is an entirely new low. She isn't. I'm sorry, I'm smiling because I'm thinking of the Beatles song, Lovely Rita, Meter Maid. She isn't interested in getting more involved than she already is in the investigation into the man she's found death. Okay, somebody needs to do some proofreading here. But when a few days later she stumbles over a second body lying feet away from where she found the first, she can't avoid it. She knows the streets of her route, knows the people on them, and she's absolutely astonished when New Scotland Yard discovers the art gallery near where she found the bodies is a front for mixing up a new psychedelic drug. Suddenly, the reason for the killings start to make sense, but what neither she nor the New Scotland Yard detective assigned to the case understand is that the killer's agenda is more complex than a drug turf war, and by the time Gabriella works it out, it might be too late. That sounds kind of cute. We looked at 23 and a Half Lies. That was a combination of 3 different stories. Melinda Lee, I don't believe we looked at. Whoops, wrong one. Catch Her Death, 7th in series. Sheriff Bree Taggart and those she loves becomes a target of a family's deadly revenge. After Sheriff Bree Taggart's takedown of cold-blooded murderer Travis Ekin, wait to spoil it, his family vows revenge. Travis's mother and brothers are every bit as violent, and Bree is in their crosshairs. To complicate matters, Bree's best friend, Dana Romano, walks into her date's home and finds him shot in the chest. There goes that date. Dana tangles with an unidentified intruder, but he escapes through the back door. The crime scene is another police department's jurisdiction, and the lead investigator focuses on Dana as the prime suspect. While Bree and investigator Matt Flynn work off the books to clear Dana, Bree's family receives deadly threats. A second dead body and a shocking piece of evidence link the two cases. Bree and Matt must find the killer fast before either case takes another deadly turn. Amazing. Okay. Thank you, Ma. But yeah, me too. I'm gonna leave that up for me to check out tonight in depth. See if when a book sounds interesting to me, what I do next is, if it's available, it's mostly available, click on a sample and see if the writing pulls me in, like the second step. Shot in the chest. Exactly. What a buzzkill. Victim in the Violets by Dale Mayer. 22nd in the Lovely Lethal Gardens series. Covers are always pretty on this. Riches to rags. Old cases never die. Love spans decades, even if unrequited. With her estranged husband still pestering her, Doreen is looking for a new case to keep her interest. Come on, people, die so she can solve something, and to help her dodge Mac and his brother's scoldings. So she decides to delve deeper into the Bob Small case, especially since it pertains to Nan's now deceased friend, only to have the case suddenly connect to a current friend and Rosemore resident. When this woman's sister ends up murdered and there's a connection to Bob Small, and see, people did that just to keep you busy. Be grateful. Doreen and her animals are off on the trail, much to Corporal McMorrow's disgust. Anything to do with Bob Small is big. He was linked to dozens of unsolved murder cases, and no way will Doreen do anything private on this case. However, even she isn't prepared for the ending that suddenly shows up with gun in hand and a story for the ages. ... And then last on this page is Shadow's Mystery by Mary Stone with Lori Rhodes, it says. Book 9 of the Shadow Island FBI series. No good deed goes unpunished. Reeling from guilt and haunted by the recent loss of one of her deputies, Sheriff Rebecca West doesn't have time to recover before Shadow Island delivers yet another blow. The island's most beloved teacher has mysteriously disappeared on the night of her retirement party, her wallet, keys, and cell phone still in her unlocked car. If Rebecca doesn't want the missing woman to join the island's growing list of corpses, she's got to focus on the present. Yeah, get off that island. Even as the past tries to rip her apart, which is nonsense. When the woman's body is found with a cryptic, blood-spattered note penned in her own handwriting, stuffed in her blouse pocket, one thing is clear: not everyone loved the veteran school teacher. But who would hate her enough to slit her throat? With suspects that span the length and breadth of the island, with a potentially violent husband grappling with early onset dementia, to almost every islander the victim once taught, Rebecca finds herself immersed in a web of deceit and vendetta. The more witnesses Rebecca interviews, the more rumors and conflicting stories arise, and the bigger the pool of suspects grows. But when another, even bloodier murder occurs on school grounds, Rebecca must work faster. A killer with a grudge against people who worked at the school is lurking, and he's escalating. Okay. Those are the ones from that website. We are going to jump to... Exactly. It's like Cabot Cove. Don't go there. People die. And apparently, never mind. It's too early for that much snark. All right. We are going to go back to looking at the cozy mysteries because there's lots of them. Excuse me. Need a coffee is required because apparently my tongue is not tripping lightly over these words. The gardener in the graveyard. Fifth in series. This is by Lise Howell. A cozy murder mystery set in picturesque Cumbrian village. Susie Spencer is branching out. She is working with local retiree gardeners on a podcast about rewilding the graveyard garden in Norbridge. But a body is found in a wheelie bin and chaos begins. That must be what they call a wheelbarrow. Queen bee of the gardening gang, Lorna Duxford, discovers the dead body. She's been bludgeoned to death. It turns out the victim wasn't local. Nobody knew her. So why did Lorna whisper Deidre when she saw her? Then the wife of another gardener dies in a car crash, but the police quickly discover that this was no accident. Someone is picking off the gardeners in the graveyard one by one. I'd be safe. I'm not a gardener. It's up to Susie Spencer to get to the bottom of these sinister goings on before anyone else pays the ultimate price. I do not have a green thumb. Yes. Yeah. And it sounded kind of interesting too. So we might have to check those out. Add things to the TBR. Okay. T die for. Excuse me. I was so excited I sneezed. By Aaron Johnson, book 9 in series, Plucky, which Minnie Wells vows to catch the killer at a haunted writer's retreat, but she'll uncover big secrets that will change everything. Novice witch and aspiring writer Minnie Wells secures the Bath Butler Cafe the job of catering a writer's retreat at a grand old manor outside of Bath. But when a well known author with ties to the manor's history dies under mysterious circumstances, rumors fly that she was killed by the aristocratic ghost of a man who's rumored to have murdered his whole family within its stone walls. Minnie and her quirky supernatural friends use their special powers to investigate the woman's death and get to the bottom of the centuries old manor murders, but discover more than they counted on. As her investigation leads her through secret passages, ancient graveyards, and the surprisingly cutthroat writing world, Minnie unravels more mysteries than answers, and when her sleuthing points to an old betrayal that could change everything in the paranormal world of Bath, she finds herself on dangerous ground. Minnie must use her magic, quick wit, and the support of her magical friends to discover the truth and bring the killer to justice, before not only she, but all of Bath falls under the criminal's thrall. For some reason, Scooby-Doo came to mind, and I'm sure that's not appropriate at all. Pups, Pumpkins, and Murder by S.A. Caslow, 4th in series. Autumn has arrived in the small town of Wings Falls in upstate New York, and children's book author Samantha Davies couldn't be happier. She's excited to attend the town's annual Taste of Wings Falls Craft and Food Festival with her boyfriend, Detective Hank Johnson. The fair features several booths like the one Sam's rug hooking group, the Loopy Ladies, have set up as a fundraiser to send underprivileged children to summer camps, as well as homegrown vegetables like the 2,000-pound pumpkin grown by Farmer Scooter that he's proudly displayed on the back of his truck. But maybe the biggest draws for the fair is the barbecue cook-up. Grammar, please. Sorry. Samantha is friends with the owners of the 3 restaurants participating, but she is betting on Franny Goodway, the owner of Sweetie Pie's Cafe, taking home this year's coveted first place prize. But things take a stomach-churning turn when several fairgoers become ill after chowing down on Franny's pulled pork delight. Franny insists it's not her fault, but when Sam sees Franny vehemently arguing with the new loan officer at the town's bank, she knows something is wrong. Little did Sam know how wrong. That evening, as Sam takes her dachshund pork chop for a stroll, she finds the body of the loan officer crushed under a 2,000-pound pumpkin. Oh, and deader than the fall leaves covering the ground. Franny instantly becomes the number 1 suspect, and it's up to Sam to prove her friend innocent of the man's murder. Can she find a killer and navigate her relationship with her detective boyfriend and save Sweetie Pie's Cafe? That is not a way I'd want to go. Press releases and puff pieces by Amanda M. Lee, 23rd in series. Avery Shaw is looking forward to a quiet but entertaining day in court when a furious plaintiff takes off after losing what Avery believes to be one of the funniest cases she's ever covered. Avery gives chase because she wants an interview, and her life is thrown into turmoil during the melee that follows. Alice Wendell likes to sue people. She's made a name for herself suing neighbors, police officers, dogs, and even dates. That's why when a car is aimed at her in downtown Mount Clemens, it's not exactly a surprise. The ensuing explosion is, however, and Avery is there for the unfortunate aftermath. When she wakes up in the hospital following a serious head injury, she finds Alice is dead, and maybe not from the blast that took out the clock tower downtown. Once back on her feet, Avery is determined to chase the case. Her boss, husband, and the very annoyed sheriff in charge of the death investigation have other plans, and they involve Avery being pushed to the puff piece beat until she's no longer shaky from the explosion. Avery Shaw is not going down without a fight, however. She's determined to get to the bottom of things, even if she dies in the process. There's something hinky going on at the biggest hospital in the county, and Avery won't stop until she knows exactly what that something is. That puts a target on her back, and the individual aiming at that target just might have the upper hand. It's a fight to the finish for Macomb County's favorite reporter. Will she survive to claim yet another win, or is this finally the end for Avery Shaw? She's been going for 23 books. It's got to end at some point. Curses and Consequences by Claire Lockhart, second in series. Midlife is Magic series. Crumpled note with a plea for help and untamed magical powers that may have led to murder. These were supposed to be the free and easy years. Life is pretty sweet for Addie Keene now that she's moved to Whale's Back Cove to live on her sailboat and develop her body care product line. She's even getting used to her new retro psychic visions, giving her remarkable glimpses into people's pasts. And then a stranger tosses her a crumpled note with a plea for help. Addie steps up, but her helping hand backfires when one of her customers ends up murdered. Furthermore, she's visited by a long-lost aunt who's come to help Addie with the transition. What transition? Turning 50 means Addie has come into magical powers, and if that isn't life-altering enough, a family curse means her magic has some unusual limitations. With her customers experiencing bizarre reactions to her products, Addie is desperate to kick these wayward enchantments to the curb. If only she knew how, because something is seriously wrong. With the sheriff questioning her motives, an intimidating warlock accusing her of harming humans, and a thieving cat dropping loot at her feet, she's determined to make sense of it all. Having dedicated her professional life to helping people, Addie's got high hopes for her new talent, but she may never get the chance to do good if she doesn't prove herself innocent all around and get her burgeoning powers under control. But can she trust the uncanny visitors who may hold the secrets to her past and her future? It's a cute cover. So she's not just having menopause, she's having magic. Yeah, it's got to end sometime. Magic limitations. I know. I'd be angry. Flora Flowerdew and the Mystery of the Purloined Papers. That's not a title to get your attention. And it's under 100 pages. So novella 1889 with the wild chase for the This is by Amanda McCabe, if I didn't mention that. 1889, with the wild chase for the late unlamented Duke's diamonds finally over, business is booming for Flora Flowerdew's Seance Society, but she's bored with summoning ghosts with the help of her psychic Pomeranian Chow Chow. She longs for adventure like what she had with Benedict and her Cockney maid Mary and journalist Evie as they chased across England and France in search of the diamonds. A late-night visit from Benedict, Duke of Everton, changes that. He was the last man she ever wanted to see again with his frosty green eyes and rough laughter, but he needs her help. His great-aunt Imogen is being blackmailed, and it might turn London politics upside down, not to mention Ben's own matrimonial prospects. Lady Imogen begs Flora to help her hide her naughty past. She insists they attend a country house party at Windermere Abbey, where all the thieving suspects will be gathered. A tangle of politics, passion, fear hang heavy in those lavish corridors, and Flora must sort it out before it's too late, and before her heart is lost too. There's a lot going on there for just 99 pages. I kind of, yeah, it's a novella, but it just feels like with that much story you have to tell, you can probably go into more detail. A Spicy Predicament by Tyora Moody, 6th in series. Eugenia Patterson-Jones and her husband Amos Jones finally head out for their long-awaited honeymoon in Music City. As part of a surprise, Eugenia is treated to a concert starring one of her favorite singers. Cinnamon Waters, also a childhood friend, invites Eugenia and Amos backstage. Behind the glitz and music, tension brews, and Eugenia will find out someone wants to harm Cinnamon. When one mishap after the other keeps happening, the couple's romantic getaway takes a backseat to trying to save her friend's life. And we've got time for maybe one more, hopefully quickly. So the cover is very interesting to me. Notebook Mysteries, A Party to Remember. Only 125 pages, so also a novella. Another Christmas novella for the Notebook series. Bells are ringing, people are singing, and Christmas is coming. The family is planning a wedding for Christmas Eve. They are all working to make it special. Before that can happen, an invitation arrives to a party. Emma is immediately suspicious. Why were they invited? Why was it in Chicago and not in New York City? Is Emma overreacting? Yeah. Or is something up at the party, or will it be a party to remember? Uh, that's by Kimberly Mullins, if I did not mention the author. Oh, I knew it. And the bell went off. The title is a book of that one. Yeah, no kidding. So, here, I'll grab my coffee. So, quick question, Mary. I'm also thinking of looking at new releases from the Harlequin different lines. Would you be interested in that? I know you were interested in some of the romances. There's a lot of those, but I was thinking of going by the lines, each separate lines. There's a lot each month, and maybe on Tuesdays, kind of fluffing out the romance selections by doing one of those lines every week. It did go quickly, faster than usual for some reason, it seems. Hope to see you later, yeah, and hope everyone has a great day. All is the air. Oh, isn't that great? I love that. So again tonight, starts at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. It'll go for 2.5 hours. Listen to some pretty ambient sounds with I've got some fall selections, and hopefully we don't have technical difficulties like we did on Tuesday. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. Hope we can talk about some Spy versus Spy and some upcoming things otherwise. And we might also keep looking at those cozies because there's still a lot of them. We didn't even everything that's coming out this week. So I hope you have a very good Thursday. Be sure to take care of yourself. Love yourself first. As I say when you are in an airplane, take care of yourself and then help others if things are going wrong. But hope you are reading good books. Like it says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Remember, you don't get good person points if you read something you don't like. It's okay to set it down and read something you do like. You're not being graded. Alrighty, thank you everybody. See you.